Well, hi there. Warm welcome. You're watching the newspaper show with me, Lakh. Lots lined up for you in this bulletin. But if you're one of those people, no matter what, with your morning cup of coffee, you need your newspaper. Well, I'm just like that. So let's get you some of the top few headlines which are coming in the Times of India. Well, first, of course, no surprises there. It talks about India's COVID count, which has unfortunately topped 3 lakh as the fresh new cases which have hit the new peak right now. In addition to that, and this is a disturbing bit, the testing levels in the states have been going down even as the positivity rate is up. As you can see, in Bihar, the 7-day average of test has really gone down. The positivity rate, however, is up, and that's the good one. And you have a city-wise difference as well as to what really are the changes in testing. Meanwhile, let's also tell you how the Supreme Court has stared into the Delhi government for deplorable state of hospitals. And this is a big story and something that almost every newspaper, every channel is focusing on, how the Supreme Court has slammed it on testing, on treatment, as well as the handling of the dead post their deaths, saying there must be dignity in life. Meanwhile, Rajnath has met the top defense brass amidst the China standoff as well. And that is something which has to be looked into, and one of the big headlines across newspapers. Meanwhile, lockdown rumors have been doing the round that there is going to be another set of lockdown, which is why Delhi, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu rule out another lockdown. Clarifications which are coming in amidst all these rumors. Night curfew, however, is not going to be there for trucks and buses as well. It says that night curfew isn't going to apply to passenger buses and trucks on highways or people returning home or on cargo movement. So there is a lot of easing up of these restrictions that we've seen. Meanwhile, there's a heart-wrenching story which is coming in. Ignored by hospitals, 2 newborns as well as the mother have died. Well, amidst all of these stories, let me get you some of the stories which are there even in Navbharat Times. Well, there you have it. This one is an important one, as we were discussing in Times of India as well. It grabs the topmost headline. So it is even in Navbharat Times. It says, Corona ke ilaj mein laparwahi, शवों की हालत पर बरसा कोर्ट. This is again regarding the same story that we were discussing yesterday. The Supreme Court has said there needs to be dignity in death no matter what. There cannot be such apathy shown to dead bodies. Meanwhile, as we were discussing, even Nepal and the firing which has happened, remember, it was completely unprovoked firing on the part of Nepal. Unfortunately, this has led one of the civilians dead as well. It says Nepal ki taraf se border par firing, ek Bharatiya ki maut. One person has lost their lives because of this unprovoked firing that we've seen on the side of Nepal. Several such stories which are doing it. Also about the GST. For that, in fact, let me go across to the Economic Times, and this is going to give you all details of what you really need to know. First one, and this is amidst a lot of fear which is doing the rounds, whether or not there is going to be any corona-induced recession. The factory output has shrunk by 55.5% in April. Full CPI data is, however, not out. Going downhill, that more or less sums up in this graphic representation. It gives you details of which sector is one of the worst hit, and it says that it's capital goods which is one of the worst hit. The change is that of minus 91.99% is the change percentage which has happened. Consumer durables, understandably, even that's taken one of the biggest hits, and that hit is up to the tune of minus 96.67%. In addition to that, other sectors such as IIP as well as manufacturing, as we all know, has taken a hit. The others such as non-durables is also taking a hit, so has mining and electricity. Meanwhile, let me get you some of the others. As we are just discussing, the Supreme Court has said to the centre that needs to be more clarity when it comes to loan interest. This is going to be something that the top court has sought to understand and know whether there is going to be interest which is deferred till 31st of August, and if it is going to be charged by the banks later. In fact, there is another story which is very important which is coming in, that there are going to be new bungalows to be made to make a stop at civil lines. Railways will be picking a developer for building luxury accommodations on its plot, and its expected price is going to be between 10 to 20 crore rupees, in the midst of a lot of talk about how real estate is going to be one of the worst hit industries and sectors after corona lockdown. But at least it's good to see that there is a whole lot more which is happening in this sector. Meanwhile, and this is something which is very interesting and of human interest, the fact that patients have been importing remdesivir even as the company companies are awaiting the nod. Remember, this is one of the most potent, supposed to be one of the most interestingly potent key drugs which is being administered, which shortens the recovery time of oxygen-assisted and moderately ill COVID-19 patients. And while the companies still await the nod for it, patients have already started going across and buying it themselves. Meanwhile, let me go back across to the Times of India. This is, of course, the Delhi edition that I have with me. So let's get you some of the topmost headlines which is coming in. This one again is coming in from the Lok Nayak Hospital, one of the biggest hospitals, government-run hospitals in Delhi. It says that there are patients at Lok Nayak who have been complaining of neglect. So let me go across to our reporter Parveena Purkayeshta, who's joining us with all the details in Delhi. Parveena, this is very disturbing, something that the Supreme Court specifically has pulled up the Delhi state government as well, the apathy which has been shown in government hospitals as well as the negligence. If you can get us details of what's happening there.
Well, you know, this Lok Nayak Hospital is one of the examples which is the reality of the government hospitals today in the national capital amidst this outbreak of this virus. Science Now has been reporting from different hospitals and the situation on ground, and most of the hospitals are overloaded with work. The kind of capacity they have is not able to cater to the kind of patients reaching each day to these hospitals, and the situation is completely out of control. Just not that, we have seen that the state governments themselves, Arvind Kejriwal, the Chief Minister, Manish Sisodia himself stated by end of July there will be 5.5 lakh cases and we need 80,000 more beds. And are we prepared for that? That's the biggest question which is coming. And Delhi government thought one of the way to resolve this could be, Delhi hospitals for Delhi citizens, and that, decision was overruled by the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi and said that you cannot just cater to the citizen of Delhi. Now, what is the mechanism they will follow will be interesting to see. Will the state government and the central government sit in tandem and will come out with a plan for them? Will they prepare more beds? Also, at the same time, we know the state government, Delhi government, has ordered 22 private hospitals to double its capacity and make 3,000 beds at least in all these hospitals. So these are the small steps which have been taken by Delhi government. But of course, we need more as to what we are seeing in Lok Nayak Hospital. That is the kind of reality, gory images. And such circumstances are seen in almost all the government hospitals which are not able to cater to the needs as many patients are reaching each day to these hospitals right now.
Well, thank you so much, Parveena, for that quick update. Yes, hopefully there is going to be better coordination amongst the state and the LG. LG, of course, has now also enlisted the help of the director of ICMR in order to handle the mounting crisis and the pressure. Thank you so much, Parveena. But after Delhi, let's take you across to maximum city of Mumbai. Unfortunately, the news never is good these days coming in from that city, is it? After 96 days, Maharashtra has crossed the 1 lakh cases mark, the second 50,000 in just 19 days. Not good news coming in. Let me go across to Arunil, who's joining us with details from Mumbai. Arunil, unfortunately, the statistics aren't really looking good, but many are saying at least the doubling rate has come down.
Well, a worrisome situation in the state of Maharashtra, Meghna, because the total number of cases in the state of Maharashtra are more than 1,01,000. So if Maharashtra was a country, it would have been placed at 17th position across worldwide with respect to the number of countries having the coronavirus cases. The number of cases are more than some countries like China and Canada as well. And with respect to the figure that you mentioned about it, I mean, it took 77 days for Maharashtra to reach the 50,000 mark. However, the next 50,000 mark was reached in only 19 days. So that is a worrisome sign. And the death count in the state of Maharashtra is more than 3,700. In fact, last 2 days, we had seen that Maharashtra recorded around 152 deaths in a single day, which was the highest single day death count. Yesterday, it was relatively less. And the city of Mumbai is also being suffering by the coronavirus pandemic. More than 55,000 cases already in the financial capital of the country. And yesterday, in fact, the CM of Maharashtra, Mr. Uddhav Thackeray, made it very clear that yes, the cases may be rising, but we are not reversing the partial lockdown that has been lifted in the state of Maharashtra, particularly in the city of Mumbai. We will continue with our mission Begin Again. So yes, economic activities continue, but at the same time, the cases are also rising at an exponential rate, and the problems still persist, Meghna, be it a shortage of beds, shortage of ICUs, shortage of ambulances, a shortage of intensivists, shortage of crucial drugs. All these problems still persist in the state of Maharashtra, particularly in Mumbai.
And that is the problem, isn't it? It's a catch-22 situation to balance out life with livelihood. Arun will keep tracking the developments from the maximum city. We'll keep coming back to you. Hopefully, we'll have some good news at least coming in. But from Mumbai, let's take you across to Kolkata, the other big metro which has some troubling stats which is coming to light. In fact, in the Times of India's Kolkata edition, you have story about the number of cases, and it says 1,000 cases in Kolkata in 10 days alone. The spike has been there in the micro clusters, and these are some of the worrisome. However, what is interesting is that this graphic representation in one look gives you a complete overview of what really is happening in the city of Kolkata. It says 476 new cases. Meanwhile, the total number of cases has crossed 10,244. Let me go across to Tamal Saha for more details, joining us from Kolkata. Well, things aren't looking very good, especially it seems in the micro clusters. Tamal?
That's right. There had been a number of people having a sale with the COVID base. We have seen 436 fresh cases in the state of West Bengal. Out of this, 11 were reported that to be new and to be part 2. And the other has always been the number of people.
Well, there seems to be a bit of a problem with your audio, Tamal. However, keep tracking the developments. We'll come back to you later for perhaps more updates. From Chennai, let's take you from Kolkata. Let's take you across to Chennai, the next big city, which is going to be the focus here on the newspaper show. It talks about how the government is divided over the intense lockdown in Chennai. In fact, across in Mumbai as well, Arunil was telling us how it's very hard to balance out life as well as livelihood, and the fact that when it comes to livelihood, how much of a movement will you permit, how much of easing of restrictions will you permit at the cost of people's safety. And that is the same problem which they are having. It says that the Chief Minister will be meeting a panel of medical experts to discuss the way forward. So let me go across to Shilpa, joining us from Chennai with more details. Shilpa, it seems to be the same problem, especially in all the big metros who have a lot of pending economic activities. To what extent are they likely to push?
Well, Meghna, as far as Chennai is concerned, there are a lot of rumors doing the round saying that the government is planning for an intensified lockdown in the city because Chennai is the worst affected district as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned. There are over 28,000 cases of coronavirus in Chennai alone. So for that reason, speculations are rife about an intensified lockdown in Chennai and the surrounding districts, which is Chengalpet, Kanjipuram and Tiruvallur. But, rubbishing all these rumors, the Tamil Nadu government has said that they have no plans for imposing an intensified lockdown in Chennai. This was told by the Chief Minister yesterday, and this was also informed to the Madras High Court as well. The government, of course, says that they will go by what the medical expert committee is going to recommend. A meeting is, going to be called on Monday, and the government will seek the recommendations of the medical expert committee. And if at all they put forward a suggestion, a proposal of this kind, then the government may consider it. But there are also certain officers within the government, some party men who believe that, an intensified lockdown is the best strategy at this point in time, because despite their efforts, they're unable to control the surge in number of COVID-19 cases. So one will have to really wait and see.
Well, today, of course, the Chief Minister will be interacting with the healthcare workers. Hopefully, they are going to be able to balance out both of them and chart the way forward. Thank you so much, Shilpa, for joining. joining us. Well, with that, from Chennai, let's take you across to Bengaluru and tell you what's happening there. And this is the Bengaluru edition of the Times of India that I'm holding in my hands now. It says that there is an exodus which continues as thousands scramble to head back to Assam. It comes with a picture as well that you can see on your screens as well. This picture shows how there are thousands of people with zero social distancing, all of them lined up in this desperate bid to get back home. It says migrant workers, a majority of them from Assam, had a long and tiring wait at the Bengaluru Palace grounds to board a train to Guwahati on Friday. Two of the trains departed in the evening. So let me go across to Imran Khan, who's joining us with more details on this, because remember, one of the biggest problems has been how to safely ensure that the migrants are repatriated. In fact, it says right here that the railways are operating more than one special train to try and manage the rush. In fact, it is a long journey back home. The lack of connecting flights is one of the problems, and when it comes to the cities of Bengaluru and Chennai, there are no flights, which is why one of the problems, not no flights, the lack of connecting flights, which has intensified the problem of those people who need to travel. We are going to be tracking all of this, but let me go back across to the Times of India, but get you some of the global news also which is coming in, so that you have a rough idea as to what's happening around the world. After all, we all may be in lockdown, but we don't need to be completely ignorant of what's happening outside. Let's tell you how in Beijing, unfortunately, new cases have come up on the second consecutive day now. That's not good news coming in, but this is something which is going to affect a lot of Indian. Donald Trump is mulling suspended H-1B visas. The president is likely to issue an order soon. The data shows more and more desis opting for Canada. So a lot of desis, instead of trying to now get the H-1B visas, the stricter norms that have already been put in place, now they would rather opt for Canada. Well, after that, we are going to move on and get you more details also coming in from New Zealand. New Zealand border has ruled to change after the Aftar row, which it is. In fact, it says that New Zealand is going to ease all its coronavirus border control, the government said on Friday. Well, this after New Zealand, of course, has claimed that coronavirus has been completely eradicated in their country. Meanwhile, when it comes to sports news, let me tell you how after Lanka tour postponement, BCCI has called off the Zimbabwe trip. So let me go across to Karishma, our sports correspondent, for more details on this. This is, as expected, a big blow to all the people who enjoy watching spectator sports.
Well, yes, absolutely. But safety above all is the mantra for BCCI, and keeping in mind the safety of the players and, the coaches and staff that would be involved in international travel, the BCCI deciding that the tour of Sri Lanka that was supposed to start on the 24th of June and Zimbabwe, a short format series in August, have been called off, meaning that there will be no international cricket for the Indian team up until August, which is another 2 months. And what we're also given to understand from the BCCI is that they are planning to hold a camp for all the contracted cricketers, but only when the situation improves in the country with regard to the COVID-19 pandemic.
We'll keep tracking the developments in the world of sports. Unfortunately, not much is happening on that front. But with that, a quick roundup before we end this bulletin as to what's happening in the world of entertainment. So let me tell you what Radhika Apte has said. I believe she's got a lot of fan following. So let me tell you what she says. She says, I have no idea when I'm going to return from London. Of course, the actor was in London, and she says that she has been enjoying bicycle rides, long walks and spending time outdoors, amongst other things. So a lot of people in India have been home for over 2 months now. Radhika Apte is up and about in London. At least she has a life outside, it seems. She says that I'm going out, and now also I'm able to meet friends. Grocery shops are open. It's not much different to normal life. So there you have it. Radhika Apte is enjoying life outside in London at Wet. But with that, we've come to the end of this morning newspaper show. Hope you enjoyed reading the newspaper as much as I did. Thank you so much for watching.